Nick, I think the best team in the National Football League is the San Francisco 49ers.
All right.
An absolute machine. When they are fully healthy, when Brock Purdy doesn't have concussion-like symptoms, when McCaffrey's out there, when Debo's out there, when Ayuk's out there, when Kittle's out there, and when Trent Williams is out there, nobody can beat this football team. There is a reason why the Philadelphia Eagles are 10-1, while they are the reigning NFC champions, while they have just beaten the Chiefs and the Bills, and they are underdogs at home to San Francisco this week. It is because they are a wagon, and their defense is very good. Now, they did have a tough injury to their safety. That Chase Young pickup looks like it's a really, really good one to go alongside with Nick Bosa. That Niners pass rush is kind of back to its old ways. I love this team, man. They can hurt you in so many different ways, and with Shanahan calling plays with all those weapons that they have, to me, that is the number one team in football.
Your Ravens, I put at number 4, PJ, and I debated this a lot with a couple of the teams up here because I really love the Ravens too. The top 4 for me is kind of like the back end of this where you could rotate a couple of teams in and justify all of them. The Ravens are the only team to rank in the top 10 in all 3 phases of the game, which is a major, major plus for them. But I'm a little concerned at the loss of Mark Andrews. I mean, that's something that can really be a problem. That's the safety net. That's really still your go-to pass catcher if you're Lamar Jackson. That concerns me. But if Odell Beckham Jr., who we're starting to see trend in the right direction, continues to do that, that's going to take away some of that blow a little bit. And I mean, offensively right now, they're averaging the most points, almost 28 a game since Lamar Jackson's MVP season back in 2019. They're holding teams to an NFL best 15.5 points a game. They're at the top there. So if this continues, I'm jumping them up even farther as it goes on. I want to see now I want to see them hold on to a damn lead. And I know you do too. So that's really what concerns me a little bit is these blown leads are something that makes me just a little bit hesitant about them right now. And when you go up and see what they did against the Chargers, who are at least good offensively, you feel good about it. But there's just these games are too close at the end when they shouldn't be. So that's why I put the Ravens in it for. But what I am concerned about, Cowboys are 9-point favorites in this. Dallas, when they're a heavy favorite, they go out and they run teams off the field.
Normally do.
And right now I see a Seattle team that's trending in the wrong direction. They can't get offenses off the field. Geno Smith and that offense, not only is he not healthy, but they've scored only 3 touchdowns over the last 4 games. This has the feel to me, with Kenneth Walker also likely out in this game. I think Dallas rolls. I'm laying the points with Dallas. The total in this I probably wouldn't touch because I don't know what Seattle's offense is going to look like. This just feels like a Dallas rolling type of game.
About Kansas, Kai, they were the number 1 team in the country going into Maui, and my big takeaway is they really don't have a lot of depth. You know, they brought in Nicholas Timberlake from Towson. They hope he could add some scoring. They have some 5 stars, but it just seems like, you know, when they play against these elite teams, when they go up against the Marquettes, when they go up against the Purdues, I mean, they're going to really struggle with their depth. Is that something that you can see them kind of building throughout the year, or do you think that's going to be a weakness for them?
Yeah, I trust Bill Self to figure it out. But yeah, right now it's a huge weakness. Top 4, they might have the best top 4 in the country, or at least can go toe-to-toe with anybody. But after that, it falls off. They need to find a 5th starter. Elmarco Jackson is supposed to be that guy, 5-star freshman. He has not looked very good. Timberlake, you mentioned, has not looked very good. And that really goes into shooting as well. Shooting is a big weakness of this team. Outside of DeJuan Harris, who doesn't really look to shoot that much, they haven't been that great. Still have Dickinson, still have Adams, McCullough, and Harris, and Bill Self, arguably the best coach in the country. So they'll be fine. But right now, yeah, that is a glaring weakness that some other elite teams don't have.
How effective he will be against the Cowboys, though, that's tough, man, because Geno's had some good streaks of ball. Like, he's been able to actually move the ball against some teams quite a bit. Like, even when they've lost, he's thrown for 300-plus yards, like he did against the Bengals a few weeks ago in a loss. And so beyond his, like, raw yardage total, what I'm looking for from Geno is, can you be good situationally? The Seahawks are right there in third down numbers with teams like the Patriots and the Giants and the Jets. You don't want to be near them in any offensive numbers this year. Those teams stink. And the Seahawks are right there converting like 30-ish% of the time. The Seahawks are not a good red zone team. Some of that falls on their quarterback as well. So I'm more concerned with how he looks in those situations. Like if it's 3rd and goal from the 7, can you punch it in? If it's 3rd and 8 backed up on your own 22 in the 4th quarter when you got to have it, can you make that throw that Deron Bland doesn't take to the house? I don't have a good answer for whether he'll be able to deliver in those situations, but I think that's going to be the most important part for Seattle. Geno's got the arm strength to do it. He's healthy enough. He's fine. But really it's just, can he be on the same page with his guys and then ultimately make the throw?
What do you think has been the bigger boost to the offense? Javonte Williams coming back, being healthy, looking like himself, or Courtland Sutton kind of emerging as that wide receiver number 1?
I'd say the run game just in general. Once they shifted to start winning games, their run percentage went way up. Javonte isn't lighting the world on fire, but if you look at his last 5 games, he's averaging closer to 75 yards than he is 50. I think the season average says something around 50, 54, or whatever it is, but he's been much better than that. And then also the emergence of Samaje Perine in the last 3 games, heavily used on final game-winning drives as a pass-catching back. And then had 7 carries this past week and ran it really well. So the combination of Javonte and Samaje with Russell Wilson once again using his legs. This is something that he did not want to do a year ago and actually was like almost personally offended when he would be like referred to as like a running quarterback. He's one of the greatest running quarterbacks of all time, and he did not like that title. His numbers were way down with rushing attempts. In fact, Russell has 2 less rushing attempts through as many games this year as he had all of last year, and we still have 6 games left. So the willingness for Russell to use his legs once again, which he was unwilling to a year ago, combined with that run game, I think has been the backbone of this offense, despite as well as Courtland Sutton has played. I mean, up until this last Sunday, he had a touchdown catch in 5 straight games. He was trailing only Tyreek Hill in touchdown catches this year as of a week ago. I think he's still top 5 in there. But all that together, but to answer your question bluntly, it's more the run game here.
Yeah, it's clear that Courtland Sutton, Russell Wilson chemistry is there, and it's developed more and more week after week, which is why any Courtland Sutton prop I can get my hands on, I will do that week after week. Talking to Zach by BetMGM tonight. Let's look at that game coming up this weekend. Broncos are 3.5-point dogs on the road in Houston. We talked a little bit this earlier, like where Houston is now. I see a team that is tremendous offensively and overcoming a lot of deficiencies they have, especially with that offensive line. C.J. Stroud looks like an MVP candidate. But their defense is actually trending in the wrong direction right now in Houston, giving up a lot more points. That's something they were able to lean on earlier in the year. When you look at this game for Denver this weekend, is that something they can really take advantage of, is maybe where Houston's defense is trending right now? Or is there maybe something else that you see that Denver has an advantage in?
No, I think you're spot on. Houston's defense has regressed a little bit, and I think it's time for the Broncos' offense to be the number one reason why they won a game. That has not been true in any game really during this 5-game win streak, which is the longest Broncos win streak since Super Bowl 50, 2015. That's what we're living in right now here in Denver. But the offense, if you look at the last 5 games, they've scored more than 24 points just one time, and that was this past week against a Cleveland team that was sort of demoralized with their quarterback situation, despite being a tremendous defense. So I think it's a game where maybe Russell comes to the forefront a little bit more as one of the reasons while they're winning. And I heard you guys talk about some of the futures with the Broncos, and I think this game's just a massive game for the Denver Broncos. Houston is right ahead of them. Their playoff probability takes a massive swing. Right now, the Broncos have about 26, 27% playoff probability. If they win, guys, it's up to 50%. This is a team that started 1-5. If they lose, it takes a nosedive down to 14%. But the extra layer of fun in this game is Sean Payton has emerged as a Coach of the Year candidate. He was plus 4,000 just 2 weeks ago, somewhere around like a plus 1,400, now plus 1,600, something in that variety. But DeMeco Ryans is up there. So if it comes close and the Broncos continue to win games, you actually could look at this head-to-head matchup, who wins this football game, Houston or Denver, in what could have a heavy hand in potentially deciding the NFL Coach of the Year, which I have $35 on in the preseason, plus 1,200.